Hi there everyone, this is Laura Colvin Brown from virtualtarotschool.com, and I've been playing with a new tarot spread that I made up the other day. It was actually inspired by the Romany spread out of the Sacred Circle Tarot's text that comes with their tarot deck. But I kind of adjusted the reading and did some different things with it so that it worked a little bit better for me, and I'd like to show you what I did. Basically, the Cosmic Gypsy Spread is going to utilize 21 cards, so it looks a bit like the tableau arrangement that we teach you how to lay out the major arcana cards in our course. But instead of having the majors in this 21 position spread position, what you're actually going to do is you're going to shuffle the deck and deal out the cards to put them into these positions randomly or intuitively so that you can actually read the cards that you lay out. And the basic idea here is that we're going to have 3 rows. One is past, one is present, is future, and we're going to have 7 columns of cards going on. And I'm going to go really briefly into what those columns are all about for you here. So the 3 rows that we're going to have are going to represent past, present, and future. And then the 7 rows roughly correlate to the 7 quote-unquote planets. They're not actually planets, but they're the planets as seen in the skies of our ancestors before we discovered the outer planets. And so those 7 positions are the Sun, the Moon, Venus, Mars, and I'll tell you why these are out of order in a minute, Mercury, Saturn, and Jupiter. Now I've got the Sun in position 1 because he correlates a lot to images that we have of the 1 column in the tableau, i.e. the Magician and Strength and the Devil. And roughly I've done that with all of them. So 2s really represent the Moon because 2 is a sort of duality and High Priestess-y in a way. The 3rd column, containing things like Empress traditionally in the tarot tableau, is going to be represented by Venus. The 4th column being Mars because the Emperor is in that row. And then Mercury is the 5th row here because the 5th row has the Hierophant in it, and the Hierophant speaks to us of communication and learning and knowledge, just like Mercury does. Saturn is the 6th row because Saturn traditionally represents constriction or limitation or growth point or challenge in our lives. And so that reminds us very much of the crossroads that we come to in the Lovers. And Death, which would be card 13, which would also sit in this 6th row. Jupiter is expansion, and very expansive feeling cards are in this last row, such as the World and Temperance and the Chariot. Now, of course, the rows correlating to each of those planets, again, aren't actually going to contain those major arcana cards here unless you have a really solid major card show up there, serendipitously. But it made sense to me to kind of arrange those rows in that position for that reason. So again, column 1 being the Sun. The Sun is going to represent, of course, sort of life force, vital energy. The Moon column, the 2nd column, is going to represent our happiness or our emotional lives or our inner lives. Venus, the Venus column, is going to represent perhaps our love and our romance and our relationships and partnerships. The Mars column is sort of going to represent our masculine energy, even for females. So this is the energy that we're going to sort of go out into the world with and put out into the world. Sort of our warrior energy, in a way. The Mercury row is going to represent knowledge and learning and communication. The Saturn row is going to represent our limitations or constrictions or restrictions. And the Jupiter row is representing our expansions. So with all of these different columns here, for each of those, Sun, Moon, Venus, Mars, Mercury, Saturn, and Jupiter, we're going to have a row representing our past with all of those elements, a row representing our present, and a row representing our future. So we'll deal out the cards as follows. Now, of course, you could, if you're an intuitive enough reader and you like to do it this way, you don't have to lay out these cards sequentially, like we're showing you how to do here. You could also lay them out just sort of intuitively, one at a time as they come to you, so sort of randomly, depending on where you intuitively feel that card belongs. And you'd read them accordingly. Now, one thing that I have discovered that you can do here is if there's a row that you have a number of tricky cards in, or a number of stumbling blocks show up in, such as a lot of reversed cards or more negative cards, you could then ask the tarot, well, what can I do about this to change this? What can I do to work on this? And let's say, for instance, that we had some tricky cards show up in the Mars row, and we asked, well, what can I do about this? You can then draw an additional card down at the bottom to sort of show you how you can work with this, your growth point for that row of cards or that column of cards. And you can also have a growth point, in any number of rows. So if we had some tricky cards show up in our expansion column, we could, again, put a growth point card there at the bottom. So it's a very, very deep explicative reading that you can practice, and I'd love to know how this goes for you. And there's sort of a choice-centered way of reading by putting additional cards underneath for tricky columns that you're especially finding difficulty with. So a really lovely spread to meditate on. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you would like to do some more tarot trainings with us, including an entire free tarot primer course that we have up, you can go to our website at virtualtarotschool.com and put your name and email in there, and we'll send some more trainings right to your inbox. Hope you enjoyed this course, and we hope to see you again soon at virtualtarotschool.com.